The impacts of Storm Babette continue tonight as an amber rain warning remains in force. It is a developing story. I'll have the latest forecast at the end of the programme.
We have seen lots of that community spirit today. Well, Anna joins me now. Anna, you'll be back with the forecast later, but let's just put this in some context. How bad has today been?
I have to say, Elise, I mean, I've been doing this job a long time, and this is probably the most disruption I have seen, most widespread flooding I have seen. It has affected us all in some way, but to different levels. We've obviously had road closures, school closures, sadly seeing the flooding of homes, businesses and evacuations. We have had, some of us, a month's worth of rainfall today in 24 hours.
It's incredible, really. And you were out in Matlock earlier in some of that rain. You've dried off now, finally. But how is it there? Because they've seen severe disruption previously. How did it feel today?
Well, obviously they've got their newly repaired flood defences, so the first big test for that, perhaps. The locals were in good spirits. They always are in Matlock. They're as prepared as they can be. But we just need to take notice of the fact that some of our river levels in the East Midlands have already peaked. For other places like Matlock, that is still to come.
A really early start. And that's the thing, it's not just today, is it? The impact goes on, not just over tonight in the coming hours, but days and months, really, for flooding.
Yeah, I mean, places like Matlock have dealt with this before. They're seasoned at this, I suppose, but it's still not great news, is it, at all? And yeah, as you say, the impacts from Storm Babette will continue to be felt. What I will remind everyone of is you can go on the Environment Agency, you can see what the current flood risks are where you are for flood warnings, flood alerts. There are too many to mention in place. We also obviously still have this amber Met Office warning in force, and although the rain is easing across parts of the south half of the Midlands, across northern Midlands, there is still heavy rainfall to come as we go through the next few hours. As I mentioned earlier, we are hoping it eases off overnight tonight and then things settle gradually across the weekend.
But such a developing picture at the moment. Thanks for that for now, Anna. We'll see you a little later in the programme. Anna, time for the forecast. It's been a long developing day. How are things looking this evening?
Well, as we said earlier, Elise, it has been a long day, but the impacts are going to continue to be felt, aren't they, for some time. Now, some of us have had, in the 24 hours, a month's rainfall, so no surprise really that there are a large number of flood warnings and flood alerts right across the East Midlands. More details on the BBC Weather website or on the government flood website as well. Now, because of the flood warnings, we do also still have that rain warning in force and amber across much of the East Midlands. This is valid until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, although I will say things are gradually now starting to ease. So that amber warning across much of Derbyshire, Nottinghamshire, up into the Peak District, that's where we're expecting the highest rainfall totals. The yellow warning still in force across the rest of the East Midlands, again valid until 6 a.m. in the morning. So the low pressure system, here it is. That's what's been bringing us the significant spell of rainfall here you can see to the north of us. As I mentioned, it is gradually going to clear away as we go overnight tonight. And although still a little bit messy through Saturday, it is a much more settled spell of weather as we head through the weekend. So out there at the moment, some of you do still have some of that heavy rainfall. It is beginning to ease, particularly across Leicestershire and Rutland, and all of us will see it becoming more patchy as we go through the evening, and that heavy rainfall will eventually clear away. The rain does pivot a little bit, so further showers will then start to feed through as we go towards the early hours of tomorrow morning. It's a mild night with temperatures down to 9 degrees Celsius. So through Saturday, maybe a glimmer of brightness for some of us, particularly the east, but all expecting the cloud to increase with a chance of a few showers feeding through, particularly heavy maybe as we head towards the end of the afternoon. So just bear that in mind. But a lot of dry weather, nothing like the significant rainfall we've had today. Highs of 14 and the winds also much lighter than what they have been. Now Sunday, ridge of high pressure just building it a little bit. Those things will be much more settled through Sunday. Most of us a dry day. There will be some sunshine around and highs of 13 degrees Celsius. Now our river levels are still peaking for some of us overnight tonight. The impacts will continue to be felt, but what I will say is as we go into next week, we have further low pressure systems heading our way. Unsure on how much rainfall that we're going to get with these, but certainly be keeping an eye on the forecast. So just be careful whatever you're doing this evening, really. There are warnings in force for a reason, particularly if you're travelling north tonight. Some significant flooding disruption up there, but settling down as we head through the weekend, just generally unsettled and average temperatures next week.
Thanks very much, Anna. Like you said, yeah, do take care.